And that's the thing. It was a lot of close games, a lot of overtime games. It was like 2 or 3 overtime games.
Champs, they're going to win. They have a lot to prove.
Baltimore is always a well-coached team. They've always made excellent decisions in the offseason.
Welcome to the Kick Six podcast with Coach Kirk Broussard and myself, Tracy Lynn.
Available on all major streaming platforms.
Hey, thanks for hanging out. It's Tracy Lynn, Coach Kirk Broussard. It is the Kick Six podcast, and definitely we have some things to catch up on. Now, picks of week 1, we put them down. We had a few that we agreed, some that we didn't. And what a week 1. I can tell you that my pools, I didn't do very good in them. Coach Kirk Broussard, how are you? How was your first week for football?
I'm doing well. The first week, I think it was better than expected. I think it was pretty amazing because, we're coming off of COVID restrictions. This is the first season where it's just been, all wide open, no mask, and I think it was good. I mean, I'm kind of in your same boat. A lot of my picks didn't really pan out the way I thought they were. Chicago shocked me. I did not see that from Chicago.
The Giants, they win by 1 point?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It was a lot of close games, a lot of overtime games. It was like 2 or 3 overtime games.
Yeah.
So
you know what? We're week 2, and we're going to recap Thursday night game. But first, let's talk about our picks for this week. I have my pen ready, my papers here. Let's start with, who are you going to pick, Jets or Cleveland?
Wow, that is that's an intriguing matchup. But the Jet thing concerns me at quarterback. I mean, is it Joe Flacco starting? Like, I can't pick a team with Joe Flacco starting. Like, he's been out for a while.
You never know. This could be the comeback story that we've been waiting for when it comes to Flacco.
But I'm wondering, why would they go with Flacco when Mike White is actually the backup quarterback? It's like they immediately went to the third string quarterback, and I just don't get that. So
maybe it's a name thing. It's a name. Let's just put Flacco in there. But so are you going to go with Cleveland?
I'm going to go with Cleveland.
Okay, I picked Cleveland as well. Now, what about Washington or Detroit?
Washington, Detroit. Wow, another one there. That's difficult to pick. I'm going to go Washington. I just think.
Okay, we're 2 for 2 so far.
Yeah, they got a lot of young heat. Where's that game at?
Detroit home game.
Okay, I'm still going to go Washington on that.
Okay, same here. Okay, now this one. I've had a little bit of flack on my pick for this one. Tampa or New Orleans?
Wow, another one.
And now I will put my pick out there right now. I did go Saints.
Where's it at?
Over the Bucks. It's a home Saints game.
I'm going to go Saints.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the one where I actually had a hard time straight up pick trying to make. Uh-huh. But I do believe, as I've said multiple times, the Saints are very underrated, and we're going to see a lot from them this season. So I'm backing them up. Now, what about Carolina or the Giants, New York Giants?
Wow. I'm going to go Giants on that one. I'm not sold on Carolina. Just not feeling the whole Baker Mayfield thing, as well as, the Giants. I think they got a nice run game. They showed me some things last week, and Daniel Jones, he's adequate. They have weapons. They, they produced offensively pretty well last week. So I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Okay, I think you're reading things off my paper here, because I did pick the Giants as well. Now, Pittsburgh or New England?
Pittsburgh, New England. Wow, that's another really good
There's a lot of tough decisions to make for week 2.
Yeah. I think Pittsburgh's going to be with J.J. Watt, and that can be kind of tough to overcome there defensively. New England didn't look so great, last week. Pittsburgh had a heated overtime battle there and squeezed it out. I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Okay, well, I went with New England, so Kirk is going with Pittsburgh. Okay, Indianapolis or Jacksonville?
I'm going to go Jacksonville. I just like what they're doing with the young guns, with Trevor Lawrence and a lot of young weapons with ETN. I think ETN needs to get more touches this week, and I'm going to go Jacksonville.
Okay. Well, I went Jacksonville as well. Now, what about this one? I did have a hard time making a pick, Miami or Baltimore. I mean, Miami won last week for week 1. Myself shocked. Yes, 100%. I will admit it. But I'm not going with them this week. Like I didn't go with them last week, and it may bite me in the ass because maybe this is their season, but I'm heading with a Baltimore win.
Where's that game at?
Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah, Lamar, baby. We're going to go Lamar Jackson. It's going to be too much to overcome. I just think Miami has some inconsistencies there on offense. And, I think Baltimore is always a well-coached team. They've always made excellent decisions in the offseason. And I think they're a playoff team. So I'm going to go Baltimore.
Okay, Rams taking on Atlanta. It's a home game for the Rams. Not quite the turn, what we expected for week 1. Bills, I mean, people were saying, the returning champs, they're going to win. They have a lot to prove, but they also have some stuff going on their roster because it's unstable. That's for sure. Who are you picking? Rams, or are you going to go with Atlanta?
I'm going to go Rams on that one. I mean, even though they're struggling offensively, I think they get it together. Obviously, they've had some protection issues, as well as they're pretty much one-dimensional on offense. They can hit the short and intermediate routes, but they don't have a deep threat, and that hurts them. And they don't have anyone to pull attention away from their star receiver, Cooper Kupp. So I think if you have when you do get a healthy Van Jefferson and a healthy OBJ back, I think you'll see a different Rams offense if they can figure out the protection thing. But I think there's too much for Atlanta.
Okay, let's move along. San Fran or Seattle? Who are you picking in this game?
Wow, Seattle's kind of hot coming off that win against Denver.
Yeah, barely though.
Yeah. I'm going to go Seattle. I think they're going to stay hot this week. Yeah.
Okay, I went 49ers. Okay, Seattle for Coach Kirk Broussard. Now, what about Dallas or Cincinnati? Now, this is a home game for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's just really hard to bet on the Cowboys without the quarterback, without Dak, who is going to be the quarterback this week. I don't know much about him, so I'm gonna say Dallas is going to drop that one.
Okay, Houston or Denver?
Houston or Denver. If Houston can get Dameon Pierce more touches, they can be more competitive offensively. I think Denver needs to feed Javonte Williams more. I mean, if Javonte Williams gets at least 25 touches in this game, I'm going to go Denver. So I'm just going to say Denver.
Okay, I went Houston. So, I'm kind of liking that we don't agree all the time, because it's always nice when I win. I can always come on the next week and say, ha ha. Las Vegas or Arizona?
Wow. I think
I know these are some tough decisions for week 2.
Yeah, but I think Las Vegas figures it out. And I think they take advantage of having Devontae Adams and Darren Waller and these great offensive weapons. And I think the Raiders are going to be too much for them.
Okay. Now, this game here, obviously home game for Green Bay. They're taking on Chicago.
Yeah.
And after watching the Green Bay game last week in week 1, we were all kind of like, what is going on here? So who is your pick, Green Bay or Chicago?
And where's that game at?
It's a home game, Green Bay.
Okay.
So that Lombardi.
Yeah, I'm going to go Green Bay. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think Justin Fields has got a lot of confidence coming off last week. I think they're going to make it competitive, but I think Green Bay is going to be a little bit too much to overcome.
Yeah. I feel like, it's still early in the season. They definitely want to own their spot.
Yeah.
I think Rodgers a little embarrassed right now. Buffalo or Tennessee?
Wow.
I think this is a no-brainer.
I'm going to keep riding with the Bills, baby. I'm going Buffalo.
Yeah. You know what?
How can you bet against Buffalo? They got so many offensive weapons. I mean, pretty much what it comes down to, if both teams play their best game, Buffalo should come out on top.
Yeah. I see. I feel like they're just going to be on top the whole season. We've talked about this year after year, and they've come so close. But this year, I mean, they came, blazing out that door for week 1. Last one, Philadelphia or Minnesota?
I like Philly in that one. Philly's got some good things going on offense, and I'm just not sold on Kirk Cousins leading Minnesota, path to even be a playoff team. I'm going to go Philly.
Okay, so we agree on that one, and we'll post our picks, and we'll put the ones that we are different on, and we'll see who is the better man when we regroup next week. Now, let's talk about Thursday night football. Last night's game, Patrick Mahomes had the final say over Justin Herbert on the Thursday night game. But Mahomes, he did his job. But Chiefs running back position was the key part. Victory over the Chargers. Let's talk about Jalen Watson before we even talk about Mahomes and his magic that he brings to the field.
Okay, so
yeah, I want to talk about the rookie. Are you surprised with Jalen Watson?
Not exactly. He was a hot commodity coming out of college, and in the right system, I knew it could benefit him. So I could say I saw this coming. I thought he was a good prospect coming out that I liked a lot. Obviously, he's got a good quarterback to get him the ball, and I think he's going to be very productive for him going forward this season.
Yeah. I mean, interesting story because he took a break from sports on the college level and he worked at a Wendy's. And he hasn't had an easy path at all when you look back. But I mean, his performance last night was the biggest comeback story.
Yeah.
And let's shift gears now. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. Everyone says, he's magic. He's the man. But at the beginning of this game, if you watch Thursday night game, I don't know about you, but I was slightly shocked because the Chargers were the better team. But yes, the Chiefs were able to pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can see that the Chargers are a better team on paper. I think everyone knew that going into this matchup. But, with the Chiefs being at home, that Chiefs Stadium is like a college atmosphere. It is the most college-like atmosphere than any other pro team, which they have a lot of diehards there in Kansas City that really push that team and motivate them and make it really loud and hostile for an opponent coming into Kansas City. It's a tough place to win. And credit to Justin Herbert. I mean, he slinged some darts out there and he was relentless. And, it was a close game too. You're going to see
27-24.
You're going to see that matchup for years to come. Two young guns at quarterback battling it out. And I think Justin Herbert has nothing to hang his head about because he fought and he's put his team in position to make plays.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we know that Patrick Mahomes had the final say last night over Justin. But this seems to be a very common theme right now when it comes to football, not only week 2, but we saw this last season. So it's now come into this season where the games expect the unexpected and the games are so close. And that's the best part as a fan watching it because you just never know which way it's going to go. And it just rises that excitement level. Is there a game this weekend? I know we just previously went through all our picks. Is there a game that you are looking for? Or is there someone on any of these games, is there a player that you think we should be watching out for? Because, I mean, we just talked about this rookie, Jalen Watson.
Yeah. I think you should keep an eye on Javonte Williams for Denver. I think he's a budding superstar. They just need to get him more touches. And the game for this week that I'm really going to have my eye on that I'm really excited to see is the Saints and Tampa Bay probably like I said, Tampa Bay drafted Jameis first overall, and he has a lot to prove. He probably thought he would be with Tampa Bay for 10, 12 years of his career, and that would be his home. So for not to work out there, he's going to be gunning to prove him wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually very excited about the Saints game. And as I've said at the beginning of the season, I mean, we're only in week 2, but that is an underrated team. And I felt like that we're going to see so much happening from them in the next couple of weeks. Now, one of the interesting things about last night, Amazon Prime and their big buy with the NFL. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I initially said that I noticed for a primetime game there was something off or something very different when you were watching the game. But you were explaining to me what's going on. And I mean, it's cool. It's a pretty fantastic idea and kudos. But what are your thoughts on Amazon and the NFL getting together?
Yeah. Well, we brought it up on air. If you pay attention to what Amazon is doing, they're making an aggressive move on all sports, especially football. They're trying to get a lot of college games on Amazon. They're trying to, obviously, they've gotten Thursday Night Football. You got Herb Street. They brought a guy over from college who did a great job. And if you just really kind of try to see this situation, forecasted in the future, you got to wonder, is Amazon making a move to, and I've heard some other sportscasters mention this, and I just thought it was intriguing. It's an intriguing idea. It seems like they're making a move to where you can actually buy things from the commercials, as well as things you may see on the screen during the game with a click of your remote, and with Prime, have it at your door the next day. I mean,
so I can buy their jersey. So if I see the player of the game and I'm like, yes, I want to remember this moment, I'm going to get his jersey. Next day I get it.
Exactly. You could just click it right there on the screen and have it the next day. So Amazon, man, they've always been kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to, what's next. And so and the thing that was really intriguing to me is the colors on the field. I'm not sure if anyone noticed this, and you can comment below if you notice how different the colors on the field looked as well. I noticed that it was kind of, I thought it was in 4K, the quality of it, but it was actually not 4K. It just, it was something different about it. So, but, it's a little different seeing Amazon, putting their hat into the sports game, but, that's the direction we're going.
Yeah, it definitely is. So there you have it. Our picks heading into week 2, our Thursday night recap. Patrick Mahomes, he owned his spot again, a 27-24 win over the Chargers. And you gave us what we should be looking for Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening and possibly Monday night football. And we will recap next week, go over all the headlines, and let's see how the man himself, Rodgers, looks this week. I mean, he didn't look so good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I just want to say, be sure to like and subscribe to the show. If you hit the like button, it really helps our algorithms so we can get more support and get the show out to more people. So if you like the show, please be sure to share it and like and subscribe.
And if you have a comment about something that we said and you'd like to put your 2 cents in on one of the topics that we have, please feel free and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And follow us, and we will see you next week for the Kick 6 podcast with Coach Kirk Broussard and myself, Tracy Lynn. We'll catch you back in a few days.